Good afternoon. Thursday, October 29th, and this is what happened in Biology A today. Today, we conducted the carbon dice game. The first thing that we did is we discussed our pyramids from yesterday. So let's take a look. Our big question is looking at our pyramids, as we see here. We asked our students to produce the most ideal pyramid. What did they enter to get the most fox? In this example, we used 1,000 kilograms of grass, 5,000 kilograms of rabbits, and 100 kilograms of fox. We let this simulation go for 100 years, and in the end, it seems like no matter what, we got about the same thing. 919 kilograms of grass, 90 kilograms of rabbits, and 9 kilograms of fox. We see we have our pools labeled here, producer, herbivore, and carnivore, but the pyramid does not include soil, decomposers, or the atmosphere. We get this pattern over and over again, and so we ask the students to develop some questions. The other pattern that we notice is that our biomass decreased from 1,600 to 1,000 and 1,800. So the big questions were, why are so few fox supported? When we look at our pyramid, we can only support 9 no matter what. Seems like that's the highest we can ever get. Why can't we get more? The other question we have is what is happening to the missing biomass when we look at this? What's going on? Where is this biomass? Matter cannot be destroyed or created. So where is this around 500 kilograms disappearing to? So those are the two big questions. To help us understand this a little bit better, we started to investigate what happens in our carbon pools and how does carbon move between pools. That would include the atmosphere and soil. So maybe that'll help us have a better understanding of why our pyramid is shaped the way it is. So let's take a look at the carbon dice game. The carbon dice game has several posters here, and we play this. Every student was asked to have their own dice. They either used their telephone or they actually used an actual dice. So when they started, everyone started in the atmosphere. So if we take a look, we had a spreadsheet for our entire class. And if we look at this spreadsheet here, we can see in our atmosphere, we have a wide range of names in here for that. So we have all of our initials, and we have a lot of people, and this is where we all started. As we started, though, some of us ended up coming back here. In order to leave the atmosphere, we had to roll a number, and the number that we had to roll was a 4 or 5 or a 6. And then when we could go through photosynthesis. And if we did that, we simply would take an energy from the sunlight, and we would delete one of these numbers, and we would go to our producers. And as you can see here, we had a lot of people ended up in the producer area as well. If you were in the producer thing, we would look at that poster. Here's the next one. So we'll go down to our producer. Once you arrived here, again, you put your name in the correct box on the spreadsheet, and then you rolled your dice again. When you rolled your dice, you either were used for cellular respiration, what plants use to grow and do all their activities, or you became part of the plant through biosynthesis. And if you became part of the plant through biosynthesis, you would put your initials again back into that spreadsheet. So and so on. If you read all these cards, it kind of shows you where you can travel and what you can do. And then we have an assessment at the end, and we were only answering the first 5 questions based on our spreadsheet. If you were absent, you can still use the spreadsheet today and look at everything. You can see where most of our tallies are. We have quite a few tallies in the soil, very few in the carnivore, very few in the herbivore, quite a few in the producer, and again, most of the time was spent in the atmosphere. So we can see in our atmosphere here, we spent a lot of time. So that's what we had in that situation there. So again, let me show you the notes for today and what we did. Here's an example. Here's my carbon dice game of playing 20 rounds. And you can see where in the dice game where I went, what I rolled, and what pool I ended up in, and so forth. So we did that throughout the period there, and it took up most of the hour. I ended up finally in the atmosphere is where I ended up, and I spent some time in the soil and so forth, and that's where my data is. But again, you want to use the data that is the class data to answer your questions. For tomorrow, have the 5 questions answered here. Be sure to use your cards or posters to help you in case you have any questions. Take a look at your notes from yesterday as well. That can help you. Again, I'll leave these notes here in case you want to pause to jot anything down. That top section is important. That's our phenomenon. And then we're going to try to tackle that question, why are so few Fox supported? Hopefully that game helps us with a little bit better understanding of that. And then we'll move into what's going on in these pools more so even tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone, and go Bulldogs.